you think it's so fire? Not a fire. All of us on fire. All of the Legos, stay in my home. Stay in my home. I was trying to take you long. Yeah, you in my side. Yeah, you in the better bad. Yeah, the better bad. Yeah, on the side. Yeah, on the side. Take a side. She wanna know. She wanna know.
University of Miami. I would do it all over again if I had a chance. I had the best times repping the U. Things will never change. It will always be about the U.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all day going? How's everybody doing? Make sure y'all hit that like button for me, please. All right, so we're gonna get straight to it tonight. Number will be on the screen tonight for you guys to call in, or if you want to join me on the stream, I'll put the link in the chat so people can come on in. Oh, what's going on, Bob? How you doing? What's going on, Jason? How you doing, boss? SEC dog, how you doing, man? Georgia Sports Nation, Bulldogs. I am a defensive guy. I enjoy Miami defense. I watch every game, seeing who hitting linebackers. Russo is a monster. Yeah, Russo definitely is a monster, boss. It'll be amazing to see what he's doing this season. Plus, he got another monster on the other side of the field at Russo and Rochi. So we should be we should be. I want to say, what's the word for it? What's the word for it? In that position, we're gonna be some quarterback killers. That's it. We're gonna be some quarterback killers. If we ain't getting sacks, we're disrupting that whole quarterback area. That's all I'm gonna say for that. Our Falcons got Allen Bailey. Oh, that's a good get. That's a good get. Anthony Rowland, what's going on, boss? Thank you for joining. Love and really appreciate that too, man. So tonight we're gonna talk about a few things. It's gonna be nice and easy talk. We're gonna talk about a prospect that Miami is looking into, and this kid definitely has interest in Miami. So we're gonna look at him too. By the name of Chase Smith. He's out of Palm Bay, Florida. Went to Bayside High School or whatever. So we're gonna check him out. He's a wide receiver, 4-star. I think he's like 6'3". 6'3". He's like an inch taller than I am. Yo, what's going on, Lenoir? What's going on, man? Yeah, like I said, we're gonna get this thing started pretty soon. Gonna pull up a couple things. If y'all see my video this morning, then you know that a couple of the rankings, a couple of these sports analysis and these guys that do this basically every year, they're starting to put out their preseason rankings. So as of right now, in what's the guy name? I think it's Pat Steele or something like that. Phil Steele. Phil Steele has Miami ranked as number 12. He also said in his own words that Miami is the number one team in the nation when it comes to improvement from 2019 to right now. With grabs like, De'Aaron King, Rochi, Jared Williams, not Jaron, Jared Williams out of Houston. A couple of the transfer portal guys that we got, stuff like that. So Miami is looking pretty decent. Said Miami is bounce back this year, definitely. Yo, what's going on, Phil from the Dell? I'm guessing that's from Lauderdale. What's going on, man? You say congratulations on taking UGA 5-star, sir. Yep. I'm guessing you're talking about James Williams right there. That's a nice grab. But you know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't know if any other YouTubers say this, but all these sports, channels that does rankings for recruiting and stuff, they trying to hold the University of Miami. They trying to hold us. You see, James Williams is a 5-star athlete. That means he can play multiple positions. But it's funny that soon as James Williams, 5-star athlete, commits to the University of Miami, all of a sudden he's a 4-star now. They trying to hold us, plain and simple. They trying to hold us. Before he said that he's going to the University of Miami, he's a 5-star. Soon as he commit, he's a 4-star. They trying to hold us. They hating on us already. That's crazy, man. What's going on, boss? How you doing, man? BB Low in the building. Oh man, Lulu Wolf in the building. He's from Miami, not from Georgia. Yeah, what he's basically saying is that his top two was Miami and Georgia, but initially he was leaning more towards Georgia. So what he's saying is that we stole him from Georgia, which I don't I don't consider it a steal, but it is what it is. All these guys that does this crystal ball stuff, they all had him going to Georgia, flip to Miami. So it is what it is. A lot of these kids, eventually, they're gonna make their decision. Some more close than others. I know Leonard Taylor from Palmetto. He should be making his decision on August 6th. And also Thomas Davis should be making his decision. I think that's August 10th. And we got another guy making his decision on August 24th. So a lot of these guys pretty much, making their mind up, figuring out where they want to go. But I see this being a domino effect because I see a lot of these kids, they're following the trend, make Miami great again. Let's put on for our city. A lot of them is putting it in their head, and they see that and they believe. They seeing that the guys that they play against and play around, they all believing in it, and everybody's starting to come together. Miami's not the only one recruiting these kids. They recruiting them themselves. They recruiting amongst each other. So it's like all of the kids that I played with, I'm going around, hey, I'm going to Miami. I'm a great safety. You a great cornerback, this and that. He a great tight end, this and that and all that. And then when we put it all together, man, we'll be a beast of a team. And we can make this city great again. We all from here. Let's come together and do it. And that's what they doing. Yeah, man. Gotta respect them, man. Put on for our city. Now, put on for our city ain't just in Miami though. You got Jay Garcia out in California. Basically, every time these kids come into the University of Miami, and every time they come into the University of Miami, and he goes on their IG and stuff, and he always commenting, put on for your city, this and that. It's like he's trying to tell us basically that that's what he's going to do too. He's going to put on for his city. Now, he's from California. He's committed to USC. So if the signs are saying put on for my city, then he might be at USC. So we might just have to go somewhere else for quarterback. And it is what it is. But we do have a great set of quarterbacks already. So it is what it is. Yo, VT, what's going on, boss? They say Bashar might commit tonight. I heard that too. I heard he was supposed to commit tomorrow or today at 3. He was supposed to make an announcement at 3 today, but nothing came out. So we'll find out. Hopefully, if he's doing it right now or whatever on the live, whatever, if it's Instagram or, Twitter or whatever, I'll pull it up. But we'll find out, man. We'll find out. Now, I'm gonna share a couple things with you guys today. We're gonna start with Chase Smith, wide receiver, 4-star from Palm Bay. Miami has made him an offer, and they're saying that he's very interested. So we're gonna check him out, see what he about. Check out his highlights. Also, thanks for that. Franklin has shut down his recruitment. Seeing James Williams commit and everything was all he needed. It's a domino effect. Guys are starting to believe, man. And a lot of these guys, they believe in each other. So when one does one thing and he say, you know what, I want to play with him because I know what he about. I know he the truth. I want to be on the same team with him. Our chances of, winning is great. So a lot of them is believing in each other and a lot of them is following each other. And that's a good thing. First say I heard we getting 2 commits tonight. From what I'm hearing, I'm not sure about 2. I'm only sure about 1, and that's Brashard. That's about it though. I'm not sure who the other one's gonna be. They say North Carolina head coach Manny Diaz. You mean Reed Lashley? Say Rice Lashley. They're coordinator. Be better. Okay, and forever. What's going on, boss? What's going on, man? All right, so let's take a look at Chase Smith. That's a 4-star wide receiver out of Palm Bay. He's looking at Miami. Miami's looking at him. We already made him an offer. Florida State made him an offer. Florida made him an offer. I even think some names like Alabama, you name it, they're all in there. So we're going to take a look at him right now. Look at his recruiting. All right, so let me see if you guys can see what I'm seeing. Okay, perfect. All right, so Smith, wide receiver, he's 6'3", 190 pounds. Class of 2001, Bayside High School, Palm Bay, Florida. He's rated as a 4-star. He's a athlete, 13th, 38th in Florida, national 251, 247 sports. He's 222, 13th on the list, 31 in Florida. They got him leaning towards Miami, but let's see all the schools that's basically offering them. Right now, they saying that everybody is pretty cold. So we're gonna take a look at all these schools that's making him an offer. You got Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Indiana, Jackson. I'll just go to the main ones, the big names that he might end up choosing. Kentucky, Miami, Mississippi, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Pitt, um, UCF, Utah, Duke, West Virginia, Louisville. So there's a lot of schools that's making this kid an offer. All right, so I know a lot of y'all probably want to see what he about. So let's check out his highlights. Okay, okay, he definitely can catch. He definitely got some hands. That ball was thrown a little bit short though. I ain't gonna lie. All right, so he played both sides of the field, offense and defense. This is my first time actually watching his highlights, so I'm watching it along with you guys. Okay, so he can play both sides. He's an athlete. They got him listed as a wide receiver, but he definitely can play both sides of the field. So with James Williams is the number one athlete in Florida, and this guy's number 31. So I think if Miami would go after this guy, they would go after him probably for most likely the wide receiving position. But he did say he's very interested in Miami, so we might end up grabbing this guy too. As you can see, he's playing safety right now, so he definitely could play both sides of the field. See, he got speed. Yeah, he got some speed right there. Okay. Right. See, see what he did in 2019. He had 50 receptions for 716 yards, seven receiving touchdowns. He has 72 tackles, 18 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, and 4 interceptions. So, like I said, he's an all-around athlete, both sides of the field, so he can play either way. That's a good thing to have in Miami, especially with some of these positions being so stacked. It'll be good to have somebody like this. Yes, yeah, you could definitely call in. After I run through a couple things, I'm gonna put the number on the chat. Or if you have StreamYard, you can definitely come on stream and talk with me. But yeah, this definitely is a call. Yeah. Oh, what's going on? What's going on, Orange or Green Blood? They say linebacker. He possibly could play linebacker too. So it's nice to get a lot of athletes because those are guys that you could basically put them in multiple positions and you can mold them into other positions too. So it's definitely good to have a guy like this. He can definitely tackle. You know, he knows coverage. He knows he playing with wide receiver and he playing in the safety position. So he knows coverage on both sides of the ball. So that's a good thing to have. Thank you, man. Hit that like button, y'all. All right, so let's run through a couple things that's going on at the University of Miami. Now, I'm not gonna read all of them. I'm not gonna click on all of them. We're just gonna check out the headlines. See, what do I think about this year's secondaries? You mean like Bubba Bolden and all them? I think we should be straight. We should be good with the safeties that we got. Plus, the 2020 season we got Avante Williams and a couple other guys. So we should be good in the safety position with the guys that we do have in secondary right now. I think we should be fine. Got because Carter's a pretty good safety also, and I think most likely him and Bubba Bolden they'll have that position shut down. With plus we got a little bit of depth, so Avante Williams probably will get some play time too. What's going on, John? How you doing, boss? All right, so like I was trying to let me share some of these headlines with you guys. Hold on. Right. All right. So basically, this is what's in the headline. Miami first committed in 2020. There we go. Thaddeus Franklin shut down all. Basically, he shut down his recruitment. No more visits. No nothing. He's all Miami. That's what he's saying. I mean, a few weeks ago, he was saying that basically it was either Miami or Florida State. But with James Williams committing, he just went ahead and shut down everything. He's all in. Yeah, see, Savion Collins, August, he will make his final decision. So look out for that. He's a part of the Palmetto Five. Then you got, you know, Corey Collier. I'm sorry. He's got his final three: Miami, Florida, LSU. So he'll make his decision soon. Most likely, it's either Florida or Miami, but we'll see how that goes. So, I mean, we just went over this one. Chase Smith, Miami. He's like Miami is definitely up there. Parents are Canes. His family, his mom and dad, they Canes, and his older brother. So who knows? Hopefully that have some kind of impact on him. making his decision to come be a Miami Hurricane. But that's pretty much what's going on the headlines from Kane Sports, which is basically a part of rivalry.com, but it's just mainly about Miami. All right. Hey guys, so I'm gonna put the number on the screen and I'm gonna put the link in the chat if you guys want to come in, chop it up. What's going on, Lakers all day? Chase, he's an athlete. From the highlights that we just got done watching, he played wide receiver on offense, and on defense he played safety. Oh man, Georgia fans going at it. Say Princeton has more natties than Georgia. I mean, a lot of people have more natties than Georgia. It is what it is, man. At least we have a winning record. Yeah, it only goes so far though. I'm he's 6'3". Lakers all day. He's 6'3", 6'3", 190 pounds. He's a four-star prospect. He's got a lot of offers too, man. I think he got almost 19 to 20 offers. Pretty much Florida, Miami, Florida State, Auburn, Nebraska, just to name a few. He's got some big names on there. But they got him crystal ball going to Miami. His parents are Miami fans. His brother's a Miami fan. Everybody in his family pretty much Miami fans. So hopefully, he chooses Miami. And he said he's very interested in Miami. So hopefully he does choose Miami. All right, let me put a number on the screen so if anybody want to call in. No, not 235. He's 6'3", 6'3", 190, 190. We're talking about Chase Smith. All right, let me put the number. Let me put the number on the chat. All right, so the number, phone. I might have to get my phone charger. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I'd rather do it that way. Y'all come on to the screen and join me. What's going on, Jay Play? Yeah, I'd rather put the link for the StreamYard in the chat. So if anybody want to come on in, they can come on in and join me on the screen, and we can talk about this. So the link to join the stream is in the chat. If anybody want to come on in and talk Miami Hurricane football recruiting, how you feel about conference only play, how you feel about playing Notre Dame, I, what's your thoughts on the season if we have to go, no fans in the stands, just TV. The link. So if anybody want to join me on the stream, the link is in the chat. Also, the number is on the number is up. So if you guys want to call in, you definitely can. Let me pull up some recruits, see what's going on. Tell you one thing though, man, the luck that we have in recruiting for this off season is amazing. The class that we going on right now, Amazing. Okay, so the momentum is going pretty good for Miami. We just got, like I said earlier, we just got our first recruit for the 2020 season. So we have somebody committed, our first commitment for 2022, which I'm gonna share that with you guys now. As you can see right there, we got a 3-star defensive end. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. That's our first commit for the 2022. Jamel Johnson. Man, y'all going at it in here. He said Chase Smith could be 235 later on. I mean, it's possible he could put on some weight, but I mean, as a wide receiver, I don't think I would want him to be that heavy. Maybe a little bit around the 220-ish, but I don't want him to be too big. You still want to keep that speed and that elusiveness. Don't want him too big. Bruh, they hating on Miami bad, bro. They hating on us bad. Like I said earlier, they hate Miami when before James Williams committed to Miami, he was a 5-star. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. All of a sudden, he commits to Miami. They drop him down to a 4-star. What happened? What footage or whatever, what games were played or anything like that for him to go from a 5-star to a 4-star? They hating, bro. They hating on Miami. It is what it is. They don't want to see us rise too far up. But this train that we on right now, they can't stop it, man. These kids want to be home. These kids want to play for their home. They want to put on for their city. They can't stop it. They trying, but they can't. Exactly, Yellow. They big mad. They keep trying to hold us back, man. Yeah, he said 235 with speed still. That's tough to do though. To go from 190 to 235 and keep that speed, and it's a tough thing to do. That's going to take a lot of conditioning, training, and it'll be tough though. I mean, I think he can get to 235 no problem, but I don't think he keep the same speed. Not saying that he's gonna be slow, but he gonna lose a little bit of that speed. Yeah, man, that's what they do. Every time it's like a thing. I think it's 247 Sports. I think ESPN. They got a love and hate relationship for us. They love to hate us, man. And then when we doing good, they love to jump on our bandwagon like they was on it the whole time. Yeah, but we could talk about Phil Steele too. Phil Steele basically he did his prediction his preseason he did his preseason rankings. So he got basically projects Miami as the nation's most improved team. So this is his list of teams that improved from 2019 to 2020. He got Miami as number one. We're the most improved team in his eyes. Then he got Northwestern, Colorado State, North Carolina State, TCU, Stanford, Toledo, Middle Tennessee State, Army, and then he got at number 10, Florida State. So those are the teams that he think that made improvements. Those are his top 10 teams that made improvements. There's other names out there, but those guys was already stacked already, basically, so we on the rise. We on the come up. You contribute that to, Manny bringing in Reed Lashley, Gervin Justice, few names, Rob Likens, basically the whole offensive staff. Then, a couple of the players that we got out of transfer portal, De'Aaron King, Jared Williams, Rochi, you name it. So that's what he's basing this off. Now, when he did also drop his top 25. See what I'm saying? Dude was a 5-star, but now all of a sudden he a 4-star. It's a love and hate thing when it comes to Miami, man. They love to hate us. They love to hate us, boy. It's funny because they love to say we're irrelevant, though. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Ted Franklin shut down recruitment. Now let's look at see this the top the basically the rankings for the 2021 cycle. At number 1, you got Ohio State. Number 2, Alabama. See, now this changing because a lot of these kids are starting to make their decisions. They starting to commit. Because a week ago, this was Ohio State. This was Clemson. This was Tennessee. This was North Carolina. So a lot of these kids are starting to make their decision now for these schools, and they starting to pick up these players. So you got Ohio State still at number 1. You got Alabama that was way down at number 18. They number 2 in the country now with 15 commits, 3 5-stars, 9 4-stars. Alabama's always up there in recruiting, so that's nothing new. Then you got Oregon, Tennessee still holding strong. You got LSU, USC, North Carolina, Michigan, Clemson down to number 9. They went from being up to number 2 down to 9. Florida went from I think number 8 down to number 10. And then you have Miami at number 11. Now they still gave us credit for James Williams as a 5-star instead of as a 4-star. So we still got credit for that with 10 recruits basically being 4-star and above. So we like a little bit of digits away from actually passing Florida, which I think with the next few the next new commitments that we get, we'll definitely pass Florida on the recruiting list. Okay, what do we got? Let me catch up on the chat. They're all still going back and forth for the Georgia fans. Yeah, they definitely don't want us back on top, man. Like I said, it's a love-hate relationship. They love us when we up, hate us when we down. He said UGA don't like black quarterbacks. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. Man, y'all going in. Y'all going in. Why? I don't know why so much animosity with I don't know why so much animosity. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yellow. Florida got 21 commits. We got 19. And if you look at their point spread versus ours, they got two more commits than we do. And if we were to get one commit right now, we'll be better than them in recruiting. So if we even got two, you know, to tie them up at 21, we'll be a better ranked class than they is. See, Florida's supposed to be killing it right now. But the kids, they don't believe in Florida. They believe in Miami. They putting on for their city. They staying home and making their city better. Florida thought they was gonna come down here and scrape up everybody because they had a couple winning season, and we didn't. It don't work that way. Yeah, we definitely gonna be set, man. I'm telling you guys, it's amazing, man. It's right now, we ain't seen nothing on the field yet or nothing like that. But it's like, man, we got the Kool-Aid, man. Why not? I think I'm gonna start drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. You gotta have that confidence, man. I mean, it is what it is. A lot of us fans, we don't see, ups and downs so much that we don't want to put too much into it and be wrong. At this point, I don't even care about being wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong later. But right now, I'm all in. I'm all in on this team that we got. I'm all in on the coaching staff. I'm all in on everything that's going on. If come down the line, we didn't win games and this and that, hey, tell me I'm wrong then. Come ha ha ha, laugh all you want. But I'm all in for this team. I see the strides that they're making. I see the changes that Manny's making. You know, last season we was talking about the new Miami. Um, that wasn't the new Miami. That's definitely not new Miami. I think going forward from where we at right now, we might actually do see the new Miami. But it's just amazing to me that coming off such a bad season, so many kids want to come to Miami. That's perfect right there. New era. That's that. Who I was listening to Junior and the Big Dogs yesterday. I was tuned in to Junior and the Big Dogs yesterday, and I agree with Junior. I agree with Junior. We should not be trying to make Miami great like back in the '80s and stuff like that. Back in the early 2000s, early '90s, we should be trying to make Miami make start our own dynasty. Start our own thing, our new era. These are different kids. These are different. They from a different era. Athletes these days have way more potential than the ones that we had way back in the '80s. And as time goes on, we see that it is what it is. Moving forward, there's so much technology. There's so much things that goes on into being an athlete these days that most of the athletes back then they did not have. So we got to start new our own new trend. We Miami. We always start the swag. So why not start a new one with the kids that we got coming in? Let's start our own. Let's not go back to the 2000. Let's not go back no more. Let's move forward. Let's start our own trend. Yeah, Bradley, we went over that a little bit ago. Yeah, Jamal Johnson, the first new commit, but he's in the 2022 class. So it's plenty of time. That class right there is plenty of time. But it's a start. Yeah, Lakers all day. We number 11. It, it's tough, man. A lot of these kids, a lot of these other schools, they recruits are coming in too. So I mean, as long as we hang around that top 10 area, if we get a few kids out of the Palmetto Five, possibly all of them, then we'll definitely be in the top 10 when it's all said and done. Where would we be in the top 10 now? That all depends. Because you gotta understand too, a lot of these schools that you see in the top 10, they recruits haven't even came in yet. Some of them haven't signed yet. Because you're looking at Ohio State at number one, they got 19 commits, but they got 4 5 stars. Then you go down to Miami, we got 19 commits also, but we only got one 5 star and 9 4 star or whatever. But when you look at Ohio State, they got 12 4 stars. 3 stars, they got 3, and then we got 9 3 stars. So that's basically the difference. Yeah, man. I think once like I said, once we get a few more commits to come on in, we'll finish in the top 10, somewhere in the top 10. Maybe around, I want to say maybe 7, 8ish, somewhere around in there, maybe a little bit higher, maybe 6, 6 to go as far. I'm gonna go up as far as 6. Yeah, you say we ain't getting Collier. I I highly doubted it too. I know his father is a Florida State guy, but when he dropped his final three, Florida State's not in it. It's Miami, Florida, and LSU. So I've seen a lot of Florida stuff on his Instagram. He's been being heavily recruited by Florida. So I'm not sure, especially him being in the position that he is, where we have so many safeties that are, choosing Miami right now. I'm not sure what his mindset is. Maybe he do want to come in and compete, or maybe he see that hey, we got too much safeties, we got too many high caliber safeties, that maybe he want to go somewhere else. Maybe he want to go to Florida or LSU. But it's a possibility that we do get him. Like I said, right now the whole everybody signing in the city of Dade County, in in Broward County, Palm Beach County, and basically I think if he does sign, it's because he's being heavily influenced by those kids around him. If he go elsewhere, I think it's probably on the competition thing. I mean, a lot of these kids got to make decisions based on what's best for them. Say we don't care about no damn Georgia history. I mean, if you look at the last time Miami played Georgia, I've been saying this for the last couple of shows, man. It's 1966. 1966. I really, I really don't know where all the Georgia Miami hate come from. We don't even play each other. I actually, you know what? C.J. Kane said it perfectly. I think it's the Mark Richt situation. I think Georgia fans started hating Miami when they saw Mark Richt go down to Miami and had that 10-win season, and before the season basically collapsed at the end. I think that's when the hate started, because they thought Mark Richt was gonna do at Miami what he couldn't do at Georgia. So I don't know. SEC dog said I love Miami, no hate. So I mean, I don't know where the hate whatever wherever it comes from, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't hate Georgia, but being on this YouTube thing and going back and forth with so many Georgia fans, them talking so much trash about Miami, I'm starting to want them to lose. I'm starting to look at them as a program that I want to lose, which I never really paid no attention to Georgia, to be honest. Georgia used to be just one of those teams I see in the top 10, top 25, or whatever, and I just never really paid them no mind because we never run into them. You said that why you talk, why you trash us so much, NCC dog. That's tough, man. See, I expect more hate from Florida fans and Florida State fans than anybody, because those are our state rivals, and we own both of them. So I expect more hate from them, not from Georgia fans. But it's tough, man. YouTube is a funny platform. You see, I think the Uncle Lou and Lonzo beef started it. I think so too, man. I think so too. See, when Lou and that's how I actually knew about Uncle Lou when Lonzo and when Hurricane Lonzo and Uncle Lou was going at it. That's why that's how I found out about Lou. But I went and watched a couple of Lou videos where I saw he was talking about Miami. He was saying Miami season's over, Miami trash, this and that. And yeah, Miami lose to FIU and all kind of stuff. He was basically talking trash on Miami. So I did my own videos. But I mean, their situation got a little personal, and I don't do the personal stuff. I just do the if I'm gonna troll you, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick to trolling. I'm gonna keep the personal stuff out of it. I don't know you, you don't know me. I'm not gonna talk about you or your family. I'm just gonna talk about your team. It's a sports thing. But that is probably where all this Georgia and Miami hate start. Definitely on YouTube, because if you're not on YouTube, then you probably don't even care about Georgia as a Miami fan, to be honest. Perfectly said, Slim Shady. That's perfectly said. You got to learn how to talk trash without getting personal or getting in your feelings. Put that all aside. I mean, you got to look at this as a sports. If everybody rooted for the same team, we wouldn't have any sports. It wouldn't be exciting. It would be nothing to look forward to watch. Oh, trust me, when we lost that, I already knew. I already knew that was coming. I already knew. I had prepared myself before I even stepped on any kind of platform when I saw that. When we lost to them, man, it was like, all right, now we in the same story as Florida when they lost to Georgia State. Now we're gonna be in the same story as Michigan when they lost to Appalachian State. And the list goes on of Power Five teams that lose to pretty much nobody teams. So I had already prepped myself for it. So the whole everybody coming in, oh, y'all lost to Duke, y'all lost to FIU, y'all lost to LA Tech. None of that don't phase me, man. All I know is they paying attention and they gonna watch us rise. They gonna learn everything about us. When we when we start doing great, all the talking gonna stop basically. What it said, oh man, you see, when they beat the Gators, they love to come knock on. They came knocking on his door. That's tough, man. I mean, but that's been the thing with Georgia and Florida fans too. When they beat each other, they want the world. They want the world to know. They want the world to know. It's kind of like the Miami and Florida State rivalry. Both teams could be having a horrible season, like last season, but both teams do not want to lose to each other. They play on a whole different level. Last season Florida State kind of fell off, and I think a lot of it's affecting them right now. Looking at their recruiting, it's tough. Where are they even ranked in this whole hold on in this whole thing? Are they even making any kind of stride in recruiting? They got 14 commits, 4 stars. Yeah, four stars, 10 3 stars. So their recruiting is kind of pretty horrible right now. Kids, the belief that the kids have in Miami, it's not the same for Florida State. It's tough, man. Tough. It is what it is. Let's see where the rest of the ACC stand at, because that's what we got to really worry about. Can't really sit. And for the Georgia fans in the chat, Georgia's at 16 right now with 10 commits. Y'all will probably move up later on when y'all, recruits start committing. Yeah, this ACC is not looking too. You got Virginia, you got Georgia Tech down there, Pitt down at 30. So yeah, Miami's doing great. Round out the ACC, we doing pretty good. Say App State still D2, and they did. That's still the worst. Yeah, that's tough. He's said nobody likes Florida. Oh man. See now, I really don't care for Florida, but when they play Georgia this season, I'm definitely rooting for them. I'm definitely gonna be rooting for them. See, all those Georgia fans gonna be on Miami bandwagon. We'll see, man. Now Georgia fans, I want to say Georgia fans are pretty loyal. They're pretty loyal. They're a pretty loyal fan base. They haven't won a championship since 1980, and every time you look at that stadium, it is packed. It is packed. So, I mean, that just goes to show you the fan base that they got. They they don't fold. They go year in and year out. They win games. They come up short in the end, but they fan base don't fold. Is what it is. I mean, hopefully when we start winning games, our stadiums start getting packed again. And we definitely gotta do something about scheduling. I know we all like to have those cupcake games in the beginning, but as a fan, not too many fans gonna want to come watch Miami play a team like a Wagner. I don't even know who Wagner is. I just recently found out that they're from New York, I think from Staten Island. I just recently found out all this, which we might not even play those teams this season at all. But it is what it is. I see baseball. Baseball is doing they're playing with no fans, so that might be what's gonna go down. The bubble with the whole NBA, a lot of the players too, they've been they've been basically doing their own YouTube thing, showing what's going on in the bubble, what practice looking like, what living inside the bubble looking like. So we'll definitely have an NBA season. Now, college football on the other hand, it's a wait and see kind of thing. It's this we might be doing this week. Next week they come out with something else. We might be fans. Half the stadium would be fans. I think Texas. I think University of Texas was talking about going 50% fans. So they might actually have fans, but they'll spread them out in the stadium. So that's just talks right now. If the numbers drop, a lot of people is not sick or whatever anymore, then we might have fans in the stands, and it might be some sign a waiver kind of thing going on too, because a lot of these schools are not going to want to be, held accountable for somebody coming in there and possibly getting affected. Yeah, fresh. They at number 21. I think they made a little bit of progress because I think last week they was at I think around 25, 26 ish. So they made a little progress, but they recruiting been up and down. He said Bama dynasty is over. Well, not according to Uncle Lou. According to Uncle Lou, Bama will be going 12-0 this season. So there's thousands of bandwagon fans: Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Ohio State. They all have solid fans, but bandwagon fans will come to us from them in Georgia. Yeah, man, it's tough. I I think a lot of people forget too. A lot of our fans that used to fill up those stadiums and stuff from the '80s, a lot of those fans have moved across the country. So we got a lot of fans in the country, just probably not in Florida. So when you see the stadium like that, sometimes it's the diehard fans that would probably go to those games or in other states. And I was listening to the Hurricane Zoe show, and one of the fans from Miami was saying that they like to watch it on TV. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with watching it on TV. Because me, when I go to the games, when I go home, I still go back and watch the game on TV. Even though I was there, I still got to rewatch it. I still got to see, all the camera highlights and stuff like that, and I'll be comparing it to my experience. Like, it's amazing how these cameras capture all this footage and, how bright and this and that it looks. Because when I'm at the stadium, you don't see none of that. You see the live action sometimes. So watching it as, from different angles on the camera, it's amazing. I ain't gonna lie. But I rather the experience. Like I said, I bought some spy cams, some shades. They're gonna have camera. It have a camera in the middle. This can record up to 2 hours. So I'm gonna take it into the stadium, and I'm gonna record. I'm gonna record the whole experience. From the tailgating to going on up in the stadium. Interaction with the fans and stuff like that. Hopefully, it'll inspire some people to come to the games. You say to be real, Miami fans are bandwagon. They never showed up for the Kings when they bad. Yep. I mean it is what it is. A lot of our fans do not show up when we're losing. A lot of them do not show up when we're playing teams that don't really have a name. I mean, even if this Corona thing never happened, it was just a regular thing, regular season, you would see it that the Florida State game will be packed. The Wagner game, the UBA game, all those, the stadium will be so spotty. You could probably, pause whatever you're watching on, wherever you're watching it on the TV, and pick a seat. like you said, we do got a lot of bandwagon fans. Most of these fans are not fans that go watch the game at the stadium. Most of these fans are the ones that watch it on TV or watch the championships and stuff like that, and they hop on the bandwagon during the glory days. I mean, it's tough, man. Yeah, he said they couldn't sell out all the home games in '01 when they were good. Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of bandwagon fans. And we got a lot of the real Miami Hurricane fans that they're across the country. But I mean, when I go to the stadium, it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different experience for me. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, so if anybody want to join, y'all come on in. Yeah, man. And also, if you don't want to join me on the screen, the number is in the chat, so you can just call the number and we can chop it up. How you guys feeling about the recruiting class? How you guys feeling about 2021 class that we got so far, and still have more to come? What's y'all how y'all feeling about Manny at this moment and the coaching staff that we do have? Also, what's the name? Jaden Jaden Francisco or Francis. I really don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think I'm saying it right when I said Francisco. But how y'all feeling about that guy? You know, should Miami give him another chance? I think he did flipped on Miami and went to Nebraska, so that's tough. Then you got a guy, David Wilson out of Georgia, who's in the transfer portal. Should Miami go after him? That's another question too. Yeah, man. See, a lot of the fans don't have that. I want to be there. I want to support the team. I want to go to the stadium kind of feel. A lot of them just want to watch it on TV, and that's tough to deal with as a fan base when you're watching and you see your stadium pretty much half empty. And then when you watch like a Tennessee game or you watch Georgia game or Texas or those names that you look in their stadium and you probably can't even find a crack. Say get him and Wilson. But if it came down to it where we didn't you know, have the slots to basically get one of those guys, I mean, who would you leave out? Then he said Wilson's not coming, UF or UCF. Yeah, that's I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, a lot of that's the feel too, Lenore. A lot of us, we don't been through so much ups and downs throughout the years that when things like this happen, we get excited, just like I am now. We get excited and everything, and then we get let down. But I mean, I don't know, man. I guess this season if they let me down, they're just gonna let me down. But right now, I'm definitely feeling excited all over again. Hopefully, it's not a letdown season. Hopefully, things work out the way we want it to. That way, we'll be, back in the picture of competing for national championships. Winning ACC championships. Oh, I got Slim Shady Kane coming in. Yo,
What's going on, boss?
what's going on, man? How you feeling about this recruiting class?
I think the recruiting class looks good. I agree with what you were just saying. We got to see it on the field. I mean, I said it to Big Dog last night. I see Randy Shannon bring in the #1 class in the country and do nothing with it.
Right. Yeah, we definitely saw that.
I mean, Golden brought in 5-star kid. Yeah, Duke Johnson, a few others. I mean, we've seen big-time players come in, not a whole lot be done with them. And especially the way he handled things with Jaron last year, I have faith in him. He's got to show me that he can be a head coach. He hasn't shown me so far that he can.
Yeah, Manny got a lot to prove this season, man. I definitely agree with you on that. Off-season wise, he's doing great, but he definitely got a lot to prove when the season come around.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how
I completely agree with that.
the inconsistencies from last season can't follow into this season. I mean, if he could pull off all this,
well, it's not just the inconsistencies.
but your signal kind of bad right now.
Oh, my bad. I was saying it's not just the inconsistencies. When and I brought this up before, when Jaron Williams comes in drunk, breaking curfew, it doesn't matter who the player is. You got to put him on the bench. You can't let stuff like that go. You think that flies at Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State? No.
Yeah. Like I said, I definitely think that Jaron. I didn't think Jaron was ready, to be honest. I didn't see him being better than N'Kosi Perry. Not saying that N'Kosi Perry is the greatest thing ever, but he's definitely better than Jaron to me. Well, to me, I think he should have started over Jaron. Jaron had that attitude that if I'm not starting or whatever, I'm leaving. They should have let him leave.
I agree with that. I do think Jaron's a talented quarterback. I think he can make any throw you ask him to. I don't think he's an incompetent quarterback. I think he's got an attitude problem, like you said. And I think you saw what the Louisville and Florida State games did. It gave him a big head.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he made his own rules at that point. Now, he wasn't the only problem. I mean, Jeff Thomas had enough attitude on him for the whole team.
Yep. Like they were saying, man, it was a lot of cancerous stuff going on in that locker room. A lot of us didn't see it because they didn't put it out there until the end. I mean, none of us knew that Jaron was showing up drunk and everything like that until it all said and done when they were bringing in Derek King. Because they didn't tell us none of that.
Well, some of that came out during the off season. Like I listened to several of those Through the Smoke podcast with Brandon Harris. And, he was talking about, when he was there, a lot of the offensive players didn't like Dan Enos because Dan Enos yelled at them. Well, that's what football coaches do. They yell at you.
Right.
I mean, if you can't handle a football coach, I mean, Nick Saban still grabs offensive linemen by their face mask when they screw up.
Yep.
I mean, if you can't handle him yelling at you, then you don't need to be playing the game. And I think that led to a lot more of the offensive problems last year, probably than what's being given credit for. And I'll be the first to admit I like the system Dan Enos runs. I don't prefer a spread system. That's me. I mean, it's nobody's ever won a national title with it. It's never happened. And on top of the fact that multiple offense that he runs is what most NFL teams run. And I think you'll agree with this that I would prefer Miami to run whatever most NFL teams are running, because that's the reason so many Miami players from the past have been great when they got to the NFL, because they were already running the predominant system that was in the NFL.
See, what I think too is I agree with you on the point that, if the NFL is running it, then most of the players in college should probably run it, because it'll get you ready for that next level, because that's what you're going to be doing in NFL. But at the same time, we've been doing it for so long, and it's not working out. It's just time to try something new. So, I mean, right now, I can't say that this system is great or anything, because I haven't seen us do anything with it yet. But right now, that's what we have, and, we're going to have to deal with it for a minute. Just, test it out and see how it works. But at SMU, he did a great job with that system. Nobody even thought about SMU until he started making those, play calls over there. So we'll see how it works out for Miami. I'm definitely excited
but
to
you've
see
got
something new. I mean, pro style.
I'm looking forward to seeing it too.
The pro style offense at Miami, it could work, but we just need a proper play caller. Like Dan Enos was not it. Dan Enos had a scheme that was going great, and then when he ran out of whatever, then he started doing whatever. He'll start.
Well, he was also limited by his offensive line.
Right. He'll start out, and
I mean,
he didn't make the proper adjustments to that offensive line, because the whole world could see our offensive line was terrible from the first game of the season. Mm-hmm. We gave him 10 sacks. So him seeing what we have at offense on the line, he should have made adjustments, made plays that, accommodate to that bad offensive line. Yeah, so I think he definitely was a bad hire. The Alabama thing.
That's easy to say. That's harder to do, especially with an offensive line that gives up 51 sacks. And this is something that me and Big Dog did agree on. If you're constantly changing position coaches and if you're constantly changing offensive coordinators, you're never going to get any better. It's just not going to happen.
Like I said, the way I see it, Manny hired those guys last season. It didn't work out. And moving forward, he knew it wasn't going to work out. So he got rid of them and brought in something fresh. Now, I do agree, changing up these positions every year in and year out, is not going to be a good look. We're going to be in the same predicament year in and year out.
Yeah.
Now, fresh guys coming in, implementing different system. The players that we had the last season learned this. Now they got to learn that. It won't work out. But right now, I think if Manny's going to be good at Miami, he's going to have to pick, like he picked Reed Lashley and these guys, he's going to have to stick with them and see how it goes.
Well, and that was exactly what I said last year. So, I mean, who's to say? I mean, at this point, we'll never know. But who's to say it wouldn't have worked in 2 years once your offensive line's better? Now, I don't disagree that this system can help mask a bad offensive line, and Derek King can too. And I think Perry would have been much better off in that system to help mask the bad offensive line last year than James Williams. And right. I was all for Perry off season last year.
Right. Like I said, I definitely think Perry would have ran the system, either system, the one we got now or the one last season, better than Jaron did. He had experience. Yeah. He definitely could have did better than Jaron. And what was like real horrible was how they would put him in to clean up after Jaron did all this mess, and he'll come in cold.
Yeah.
But At the end of the day, this is the new system we got. We just gotta have to run it. And
Oh,
Manny,
it is.
I think the way Manny did it too, he saw that, you know, 2 years from now, like you said, that we would probably have a better line and stuff like that. Manny see it as an opportunity right now to fix whatever he got going on because he know he might not have 2 years to wait for this. So I think that's why he went ahead and did it right away. Like, hey, this ain't working out. They've been doing this for years. Let's go in a different direction. At the end of the day, his job is on the line. Fans was already going crazy, and that was only his first year. I
Well,
mean,
and that's
me,
where the fan base needs to chill out.
yeah, I mean, even me as a fan that hasn't, seen us win in so long and haven't seen us this horrible in so long too, it was crazy. The inconsistency had me last year going up and down with Manny.
Yeah. Well, and I said, and I was crucified all last offseason. Everybody was talking how great we were going to be last year. And everybody thought I was crazy. I said 9 times out of 10, when a new coach comes in, your record's worse than it is the year before with the previous coach. That's exactly what happened.
I think where Manny
I'm not a football genius. Go ahead.
I think what Manny did was Manny came in and he played the Gators. Everybody expected us to lose, but the fashion that we lost in, 24-20, so close, and the Gators was highly ranked and up there with the talent that they had compared to what we had. So everybody saw that game like, okay, we did lose, but we could beat everybody else that's on the schedule. And then when none of that happened, then, we start losing the teams that we're not supposed to, like Duke and Georgia Tech. Because if you look at those teams last season, look at their records, they should have never – Georgia Tech should have never beaten Miami. I think we was their first win in the ACC.
Mm-hmm. They only won 2 or 3 games last year.
Yeah, we should have never been on that losing list. Then the LA Tech going over there losing. We was the only team in the country that was shut out. We didn't score a point. So a lot of people saw that and were like gunning for Manny. And Manny knew he had to make changes right then and there. So, I mean, moving forward with what we got the spread offense. We got to learn to, utilize what we got.
I get what you're saying, but where I'm coming from is, all right, perfect example. You go into Alonzo's show, or even this show or Big Dog show. Everybody's talking 10, 11 wins, maybe 12 wins is a must. People are setting the bar way too high.
But
y'all are wanting Manny to turn a 6-6 team into a 12-0 team in one off season, and we're about ready to fire him last year when he didn't.
I mean, you got to admit it though. Looking at what we got, talent wise, the whole country sees it. Talent wise, we are up there right now. They're saying we the most improved team in the country from last season to now. So the expectations are high. Like I'm one to say that we, with the schedule that we did have, 12-0 is possible, but more realistically would be looking for 10. I could say that, but looking at the schedule, what we have and the talent that we have and the improvements that we made, there's no way that we should be losing, going 6-7 or even 7-5 or anything like that.
But we've already seen in the past, brought it up a minute ago, Randy Shannon brought in the number 1 class in the country, went 7-5 with it, went 8-4 with it. Having all the talent in the world doesn't mean everything.
I mean, it's proper coaching. You got to have coaches around you.
That was part of Randy's problem, is he went through offensive coordinators like they were going out of style too. So you could never get set into a system.
Yeah, but you got to look at Reed Lashley for what he is with the system that he runs. He took a SMU team and made them into somebody. And if you go back and you watch their games and you watch how his offense is run, they score fast and they do not gas their defense. So it's going to be an improvement for Miami, especially that Miami has a better defense.
Okay, I have a question for you. And the Georgia fans that are in the chat and I'm sure I think there's an Auburn fan in here too, and a Florida fan can back this up. How did Rhett Lashley's offense look at Auburn? There's a reason he's not there.
I mean, if you look at his numbers that he did at Auburn, they weren't that terrible.
They were terrible enough to get him run out of there and get him fired.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when he went to SMU and he implemented his system, you got to look at the players that he worked with too. He's
going to have better players at Auburn than he did at SMU. My whole point is you can't just look at the good.
But the players that he had at the players that he had at SMU was the ones that he brought in mostly. So the talent that he was working with at SMU was the kids that he sorted out. Like right now, De'Aaron King, he sought out De'Aaron King. Go sit down. Who else is gonna buy my shirt? Go sit down. All right, I'll buy you one. Go sit down. All right. Where your mama? Y'all go in there with her. Yeah, well, like I said, it depends. Like if you're an offensive coordinator and you were to go up to Florida State right now, your first season with them, none of those players that are on that team you brought in there. So whatever system you have, they're gonna have to learn it. Or some of them might not even agree with it, or they'll transfer out and stuff. So you'll be left with whatever's left over, and then you got to work with what you got. But
hold up right there. You have to. Why don't you apply that same logic then to Dan Enos?
But that's the thing with Dan Enos. It was a mess, man. We all saw it. It was a mess. Dan Enos play calling and everything. It was predictable. Half the time when he made plays, the whole entire defense for the other team, they already knew where he was going with the ball. Because his plays take so long to develop. And then we got an offensive line that can't sustain, blocking for that long. So it looked horrible.
And okay. And with that, I'll take you back to the FIU game. 4th and goal. Lined up at the 1-yard line. You telling me that FIU talent is good enough to stand up Miami talent and they can't get a single yard?
That's what I'm saying. Look at the play call when you get to the
that's not play calling. That's effort.
I mean,
that's players not putting out.
Look at the O-line that we had. Look at the O-line. Look how they played. We couldn't score. Exactly what I'm saying. We could not score on FIU on a 1-yard line.
So how is that Dan Enos' fault? That's straight up effort and lack of talent.
You got to understand, when you have this job, they give you this job. You got the pieces that ain't in the proper places, but they counting on you to do things that you probably can't. You're gonna have to work around it. You're gonna have to find other ways to do it.
Okay, and if the offense is just as bad this year, we firing Rhett Lashley at the end of the year?
Who knows? I mean, if that's the case, they might fire Manny at the end of the year.
I predicted 2 months ago Manny will be gone before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know. Reed Lashley might be his savior.
And he could be. I'm not saying it can't happen. And I've been on other shows and said.
Let me ask you one thing, though. One thing. If Manny had kept Dan Enos, do you think he'd make it to Thanksgiving?
In my opinion, a new coaching staff should be given 4 years automatic.
Yeah, but if you're gonna fire,
I said that before Mark Richt was hired. That's just my opinion, because it takes – I mean, look at perfect example. It took Nick Saban 3 years to turn Alabama around into a championship caliber team, and he's going to go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time.
But when Nick Saban took over for Alabama, what was his record the first couple of years?
His first year, they went 7-5. Lost to Louisiana Monroe. I think that was – did they lose to Utah that year? Or it might have been the next year that they had lost to Utah. I don't remember. And that was before Utah ever joined the Pac-12.
But
they were terrible Nick Saban's first year.
Yeah, but I never seen Nick Saban and Alabama had a losing season. 7-5 and up.
His first year there, they were 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5. Right now, we'll take 7-5 over 6-7.
And my point is, they probably would have gone 7-5 this year. But it goes back to what I said a minute ago. 90% of the time when you bring in a new head coach and a new staff, you end up with a worse record than the previous year. Perfect example. You were talking about Georgia earlier. Mark Richt's last year, they won 10 games. Kirby Smart's first year, they won 8.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Look at Florida. Dan Mullen, 10-3 his first season, 11-2 his second.
And some of that's luck. And you can't look at Florida's schedule and say a lot of that wasn't luck. Kentucky was beating them. Vandy was beating them. Tennessee was beating them. They pulled those out in the last minute.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, with our system that we was running, it was clear that our offense, from the beginning of the season, Dan Eno saw that offensive line was not holding, was not sustaining. And instead of making play calls where it's like faster develop, he's still running the plays like nothing's going on. Like you don't see that, we're getting sacked from left to right. He didn't make no adjustments. And that's what kind of killed him.
And this is one of the things. This is one of the things me and Alonzo even agreed on. A lot of those sacks could have been prevented if Jaron Williams would pay a little more attention to what was going on around him. There were a lot of those that you couldn't put on the offensive line that you got to put on Jaron Williams.
See, I can agree with you on that too, because Jaron came into those games as if he wanted to be Peyton Madden. Like he had an old line like Peyton Madden, not paying attention to half of the sacks that was given.
Well, and look at a lot of the pass plays too. How many times, and that was something else me and Alonzo agreed with, at least for half the season. How many times would you watch a play and then see wide open receivers downfield, but Jaron's checking down? A lot of that's on Jaron Williams' decision making, not Dan Enos's play calling.
Right. Like I said, Jaron Williams.
And we all knew Dan Enos wanted to put Perry in the game. Kept putting him in there first opportunity he had.
Yeah, we all saw that Jaron Williams was not ready. I said that after the first 2 games, he was not ready. And then when we almost lost to Central Michigan, I knew he wasn't ready. We should not be – that game, we should have blew Central Michigan out. Because if you watch the rest of Central Michigan's season or you look at their scores, the other teams that are nowhere near our level in talent or anything like that, when they beat them, they blew them out. So I already knew we had an issue, especially –
no, because Central Michigan beat Pitt in their bowl game.
Yeah, but look at their regular season wins. Their losses. Look at them. Most of them are blowouts. And it's teams that are no names that's blowing them out. But they come to Miami and almost escape.
Well, I think they're in a division with no names.
Yeah, so teams winning, we barely won that game. And Central Michigan had all the options in the world to win that game. Our defense just stood up at the last minute to stop them from winning. So,
well, and I even told Junior and Big Dog, I said, I could see us having another 2017 this year, but it's going to be because of the defense again, not because of the offense.
I don't necessarily want a 2017. I want consistency. Because 2017, if you go back and watch those games, we didn't dominate. Some of those games was won in the fourth quarter. Some of those games,
a lot of those games were won in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. So I don't necessarily want 2017 10 wins was great, but I want us to win in dominant fashion. I want our team to be solid. I want it to come down to some lucky plays. If we get a lucky win on some lucky plays, I'll be looking at it like it's a Florida State game. But other than that, other teams, it shouldn't be close like that.
Well, that's going to take consistency on your coaching staff, and that's going to take, about 4 years. Yep. Unless Manny can keep recruiting like this, and the fan base doesn't run off.
Well, what I'm looking at with Manny is Manny has a solid 2020 class, and he has a solid 2021 class. So, based on what he do this season, I can agree with you. They should give him 4 years. They should see what he does this year, and then see if he improves next year also. And we'll be in, next 2-3 seasons, we'll be competing for championships.
I think it's still unfair I think it'd still be unfair to try and put the pressure on him to be competing for a national title within 3 or 4 years. Because what I said about Nick Saban I understand that, but I said earlier, it took Nick Saban 3 years to do it at Alabama. Nick Saban was already a veteran head coach. Nick Saban spent his first coaching tenure at Michigan State getting whooped by Indiana. His early coaching record was not good. And people got to remember, Manny's only been a head coach for a year. That's it. So to try and put national title expectations and 12-0 season expectations on him year 1, year 2 is very unrealistic.
But at the end of the day, that's what he signed up for. That's what he know. He know Miami has been down for a long time, and that's what Miami's looking for. That's what we're looking for. Not 6-7 years from now. We're looking at. He knows the Miami fans are hungry. We want to win. We don't want to win 4 or 5 years from now. We want to win now. And that's what
unfortunately, that's not the way it works, though.
Yeah,
college football just don't work that way.
He's going to have to get it done, or he won't be here too long. Like I said, I agree with you. 4 years max. But if he's not winning games that we're supposed to, and everything like that, he's not going to be here too long. And like I said, Manny knows that. Manny sees the fan base is hungry. That's why he's making changes so fast. Because, it's his first year.
That's all well and good.
It's his first year, and a lot of fans, even boosters, were talking on him about, is this the right guy? Did we make the right choice? So he knows the pressure is on. This season, the next 2 seasons, he's got to get it done. I'm not saying win a national championship, but at least be in the contender, be a contender.
It's all right. Say, for instance, he wins the Coastal the next 3 years. I'd give him a contract extension.
I definitely.
Hell, even if he wins it, not necessarily this year, but he wins 2 of them, I'd give him a contract extension.
Right. If he's winning the Coastal and he's going into the ACC championship games competing, not going in there to get blown out, because we all saw that. If he's going in there,
that's going to happen.
If it's not going to be just going there, score 3 points, and you look at the other team, it's like 50, 60 points. Come on, that ain't going to last too long either. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, you line us up against Clemson. That I mean, even after another, even say he gets this another top 15 class, and the 21 class is still good. Clemson's still ahead of us. They'd still probably be a 3 touchdown favorite ahead of us.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
I'll take a 3 touchdown over 50. What it was, 58-3. I'll take 3 touchdowns over that.
No, it was 38-3. 58-0 was the game that got Alcott fired.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, either way,
yeah,
losing like that is come on. We can't go to the big games and lose like that. If it's close games and Manny wins the Coastal, goes to the ACC championship, play against a Clemson team and lose by 14 to 20 points or so, that was expected. And
a 30-point loss would still be expected.
And if he goes in and year out, and he's improving each time based on, Clemson is a dominant house right now. But if he's making progress each time, then we could see it for what it is. But if he goes in there and get blown out every time, then the fans going to start uprising.
No, but a good 28-point win is something to be expected, especially the first time that he makes it to the ACC championship against Clemson. And, I mean, that kind of goes back to the same point I was making about Saban a minute ago. I mean, you said it about Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's been a head coach for over a decade. Dabo Swinney's been a head coach for a decade. Manny's been a head coach for 1 year. I mean, people wanted Manny. That's kind of what's baked into the cake. You have to expect he's got to learn to be a head coach too.
And that's what you got to see with Manny too. Manny is a defensive guy. So when he bringing in guys on the offense, he's bringing in these guys to make the calls themselves because he's not going to be able to take over an offense. Manny is a defensive mind guy. He's a defensive coordinator. So when it comes down to it, when he go out and grab a guy like Reed Lashley and them, it's because he knows I'm going to have to put all the offensive decisions in their hand.
We hope.
So at the end of the day, Reed Lashley runs the spread. The O-line has improved, everything like that. So right now we can only wait and see. That's basically what we're doing, waiting and see, hoping and praying.
Yeah, and we hope Manny's going to leave the offense alone because, I mean, you were talking about Georgia a little while ago. Kirby Smart ain't left that offense alone yet, and that's something you tend to see out of defensive coordinators that become head coaches. Nick Saban did the same thing for years. Nick Saban didn't leave that offense alone until they hired Lane Kiffin, and he finally saw that he had to get with the times. Because before that, remember when he had like Derrick Henry and Trent Richardson, they were winning national title games 21-10.
I mean,
they had an ancient offense, relied heavily on nothing but running backs, and it wasn't until he hired, he saw that he had to get with the times, and he hired Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, but with Reed Lashley offense is balanced too. It's a balance between the run and the pass, and either one could open up for each other.
I wasn't talking about Reed Lashley's offense. I was just talking about how defensive coordinators turned head coaches tend to be hard-headed and not leave the offense alone.
As we can see, though, Manny right now, he's already said it. The offense is in Reed Lashley's hands.
He said that last year, too. And he determined who was starting at quarterback.
Manny had to interrupt with Dan Enos half the time because Dan Enos didn't know what the hell he was doing. Okay. I watched that one game when we watched. The dude didn't even have his freaking plays laminated. The rain was washing away half of his plays. I was like, oh, my God. Seriously.
Okay, do you actually think any offensive coordinator in the country does that himself? I mean, somebody below him didn't do their job.
Yeah, but he's supposed to make sure that happens.
There ain't an offensive coordinator in the country that does that himself.
Offensive coordinator, think about it. you going into the game, I know you're watching the weather forecast. I know you know that, hey, it probably 90% chance of rain. At least know that, hey, if it rains, this is gonna get wet. Somebody get this done now. For
And
stuff like that.
to the best of your knowledge, he told somebody to get it done,
But
and it just didn't happen.
As a boss, you got to make sure it get done. Because if at the end of the day they mess up and you mess up, it's gonna come down on you before it come down on them. So your boss is gonna come down on you first, and then you're gonna come down on them. But it already happened.
Kind of like how Manny left him hanging out to dry as far as Jaron Williams starting that FIU game when he broke curfew. When Dan Enos come out and said he wanted to bench Jaron.
Yeah, Manny, like I said, Manny got to learn. As a head coach, that was his first year. He got to learn. And I think Manny is a reasonable guy. I think he's a guy that learns from mistakes based on what he's doing. So
Manny's shown me he's a politician.
I mean, I've seen the politician in him. But at the end of the day, he's what we got, and we got to work with what he's given us. And he's showing that he's willing to change some of his crazy ways.
Oh, yeah. Just like, and I guarantee you, if we have an 8-4 season and the fan base is in an uprising, and I think a lot of them will be with an 8-4 season, he'll fire Rhett Lashley at the end of the year. Much like Gus Malzahn every other year fires his offensive coordinator when the fan base isn't happy with the offense. But you're never going to get anywhere doing that.
So we got shout out BVDs in the chat. And we also got Daniel Rivera. I'm sorry, Daniel Rivera. How you doing, boss?
And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Manny step up, leave the offense alone, make better choices when it comes to disciplining players that need to be. And it wasn't, like we said, it wasn't just Jaron, it was Jeff Thomas, some of the offensive linemen. And I said this on Big Dog Show. If Manny had benched all those players that just didn't give a damn, didn't want to put out effort, and they went 4-8, I would have demanded he got a contract extension right then and there.
Hey, like I said, Manny got a lot to prove. He got a lot to prove. Until he proved that he could win, because he got great talent. He's done great in the offseason. Until he proved that he could win on the field, it's going to be tough. If he goes out there this season with all this talent, with everything, with the whole fan base so hyped right now, and he goes out there and do the same thing that he did last year, I guarantee you he will not be there. It'll be just like you said, Thanksgiving.
Well, and I think that'll be a mistake. And honestly, I think it was a mistake with Mark Richt. But I'm finna go in here and I'm finna eat dinner. But I'm going to leave you with this. Think about this. People said the same thing in 96, 95, 96, and 97. Butch Davis's first 3 years. They were flying banners to get him fired in his first 3 years. But we never would have had the run that we had in the 2000s if the University of Miami had listened to the fan base.
Now, what you got to look at, too, is Butch Davis, Miami had won a championship in 91. So when he coming in, it wasn't like Manny coming in like 20 years later when we haven't won in like almost 20 years. So it's a different dynamic right now. Fans are hungry. The fans are hungry.
You're right. It is a different dynamic. And I'll give you a perfect example of how it's a different dynamic. I heard you and CJ the other day, y'all were talking about all the so-called sanctions we got put under. They took 3 scholarships a year for 3 years. When Butch Davis walked in the door, they took 31 scholarships away from him.
Right.
They were only able to sign 13 players in the 1997 class. That's it.
Exactly. So I mean, the fans had to be patient with Bush. They knew what he had. They knew what he had to walk into. Not Manning.
Now, I'll say this much. It's more – this time it was more than just the sanctions. Obviously, it was the 2.5 years that they spent so-called investigating it. But to me, that almost evens out. So you're going to need to give it just as much time.
How's it going?
We'll see, man. We'll see. How you doing, boss? What's going on with you?
Everything's good. Yeah. I'm tuning into the show, and I value you guys' opinions about everything, and I think you guys are dropping very good knowledge when it comes to the channel and this video. As far as where the direction with this new with the new team for 2020, I think it's going to be a bit different, especially for the years to come. Because they're trying to make the crib great again. I mean, I feel as if the kids, they know they have to work hard, and they won't only have to depend on the coaches themselves. They have South Florida. They have South Florida that's going to be behind them and trying to build something great. That's why James Williams is coming to Miami. He's not trying to waste no time coming over here. So that's just what I have to say regarding to that.
Hey, boss, I don't mean to cut you off. I appreciate you letting me on, man. I'm finna go in here and eat dinner. I'm going to holler at y'all next time.
All right, man. Be easy, son.
Yes, sir. Y'all be good.
All right. What's going on, boss?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling. Don't really come on, but it was good.
All right. So how you feeling about Reed Lashley, man? Let's start off there.
Yeah, man. All right. So, all right. I didn't really take a look at his stats when it came to him being at Auburn, but I definitely do feel as if he's going to come with some type of change in a positive way. Like, I know he's going to be able to help produce our players and get us on the scoreboard much faster. And I only see positive things happening with this offense due to it being completely different from how it was before. Yeah, like Mark Pope. I'm from South Florida. That's why my name fell from the Delph, Broward County, and a lot of their leagues. You feel me? So that's just what they do. You feel me? They do quick plays, get the ball out their hands fast, and I really do feel as if with Derek King being on the team, he's going to help our O line. He's going to help our O line, and it's going to look like a totally different team, especially when the 21 class come in.
Yeah, it's like I've been telling people, man. These kids in South Florida, the Reed Lashley offense is what mostly every school in South Florida is running. They run the spread, they get the ball out quick. So bringing that to Miami with the kids that's already in that system that already know those plays, we already up an advantage. You don't have to go in there and learn Dan Eno's playbook. Like, half the kids right now that was running that system, they probably still don't know half the plays in Dan Eno's book. They probably still don't know half the signal calls that he made because it took so long to develop. Plus, we had a O-line that was struggling that he never adjusted to. As a coach, you got to know what you're working with. Hey,
Right.
they can only hold up for about 2.5 seconds. Get the ball out quick. Do what you got to do. And having Perry as a more mobile quarterback than Jaron in those situations, Perry should have been playing.
Yeah, he's been very much loyal to the team, and I agree with you completely when it comes to that. You spoke of him what's his name, Dan Enos doing play action. I'm actually playing Madden right now. I have a PC, but I have a Xbox controller. But shout out to Xbox. But yeah, doing play action every given down, you're not gonna go nowhere with that. I mean, I feel as if that had to be implemented, going forward. We had to be able to get the ball into, players like I wish we had Jeff Thomas with this type of offense, especially with De'Aaron King, because it's just threats all over the place. I know people don't really like to hear his name, but even with Tate Martell, I feel as if him alone, his name and his history, like he would have been able to be a threat when it came to like fast like air raid offense, and he didn't
I
necessarily.
definitely agree with you on that, especially
He
with Tate Martell.
Yeah, like his name alone, he didn't have to really even do much. Like honestly, um, people players like Jeff Thomas and what's his name? Um, what was his name? Avante Williams' cousin, um, the running back that went to Florida. Lorenzo
Lorenzo Lingard. Lingard.
Lingard. Man, like honestly, I don't understand why he wasn't in the offense. I mean, it was very crazy to me, and I attended those games. I'm one of the fans that actually go to those games. I got the the poster back here or whatever, and like I really do have faith in the Miami Hurricanes come in this upcoming season, and I think that things are going in a different direction. We're getting joked on, with our coach Manny Diaz because he is a new coach, but I feel like the team alone with the talent. I mean, we have like two Heisman hopefuls on our team. We have De'Aaron King and Greg Russo. I mean, I'm 24. I only have so much knowledge, but I do feel as if we have what it takes in order to be good, especially with this schedule. I mean,
Trust me,
they
I'm
they
I'm right there with you, man. Because I'm one of the fans that's making that bold prediction that we could win 10 to 12 games. So
right,
I see what you see.
most definitely. Yeah, like I'm watching us on the TV too, and I be tuned in, man. I be playing the game, and I just be tuning in. But
Man. Appreciate it, man.
it's no problem at all. Yeah, like what else? Like I know you guys are speaking, based off of like the coaching and you know Danny, not Danny knows. Well, yeah, his actual offense from last year, and um when it comes to Rhett Lashley, I feel as if, like I said before, I mean, I think he's going to do good with the program. Honestly,
Yeah, Reed Lashley is getting players that's been running that system that he's running. So he's getting players that are coming in there comfortable. They're
yeah,
gonna learn his style of doing it, but it's not gonna be a difficult task. It's gonna be
right,
like let's get these plays down and let's go out there and you do it effortlessly. You know,
right.
go out there and play hard football, but have fun doing it. It ain't nothing difficult. You look over to the sideline, he calling the play. You ain't got to look at your like, yo, what that is. I don't know. That's how they felt with Dan Enos. And then
Yeah,
what pissed me off the most with Dan Enos' offense was how slow it developed. Knowing that we don't have the line to run plays that are slow developing. As soon as
most
we call
definitely.
hike, within 2 seconds or so, these guys are already in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot that was left on the field last year. A lot of things. It's like they put too much thought into it. Like I feel as if he felt as if he had to be a magician or something. Like he had to make all this stuff happen. But the offense that I can say that he did have a very good offense in the first game at Florida Gators. When we faced Florida Gators, and you would have thought that it would have been a totally different team going forward throughout the season. But we left some games. We left some W's last year. Just plain like due to the fact that we did not have a kicker. The whole team was completely different. The whole team is completely different from what it is now. And with Andy Baraglis, I think that's how you pronounce his name. But with him, locking his commitment down, it felt good, and I'm a proud like Hurricane fan. I always been, but with him, locking his commitment down, that just gave promise, like a promising feeling that will be good for the next 2 3 years, 4 years, with the special teams, when it comes to field goals. But
And
yeah, like
that's why I'm so high on Manny right now. Because looking at last season, he looked at his offense. He knew he needed change, and he made those changes. He balls up, got rid of the coaches that he needed to get rid of. He went out and got the players to fill in the positions that we lacked in the most. You know, quarterback, we was inconsistent. You got the old line. He went out and got Jared Williams from Houston, who is a beast. Then he's bringing in guys like Ed Reed, Telly Lockett. Dude is making strides, man. Then you got the off season where we just came off a 6-7 season, and then you got the whole South Florida coming into Miami.
that's what I'm
It,
saying.
it's tough to say that Manny ain't doing it. Manny is that
Honestly,
at this moment right now. Manny is that guy. Manny is that guy. He just got to go out there on the field and perform now.
yeah, and honestly, like when it comes to the last guest that was on, I forgot his name, but
Slim Shady
the
King.
coach, yeah, the coaching factor, it does play a good part, but with the talent that we do have on this team at this given moment, going into this new season, they alone, like, they all right. We're from South Florida. Like, South Florida, they know how to ball. We have the best athletes. We should not have to worry about losing to these non-power five teams. And I did see orange and green orange and green bloods chat. I think I had seen. He was like, "Who do I want returning kicks?" Honestly, I ran track and played football with Mike Harley, and that's my dude. That's my boy. But I honestly would feel more comfortable having somebody else returning kicks, such as Mark Pope's Noodles. You feel me? That's what they call them. And honestly, Jalen Knighton. I feel as if he had Jalen Knighton or Xavier Restrepo, because I feel as if they do have that twitch, that they do have that good top speed, and they could be able to take it to the house. Them boys right. I'm all over the place, but I got that knowledge, man.
Yeah, I mean Xavier. He's a whole different level. I think he's gonna be one of the biggest leaders on that team because this dude
Yeah,
is a hard. He's a hard worker. I follow him on Instagram. Dude is always working out. Dude is always reaching out to the other players. Even the other players are saying it. Brevin George and Brevin Jordan and Bubba Bolden had a conversation, and they both were saying that that's the guy that motivates everybody to go out there and work, even when they probably don't feel like it. Every morning, he's the one that sending out them texts, "Hey man, let's go do this." So you see that leader potential in Respo, or however you pronounce his last name. So you can see that potential, him being a leader on the offense.
most definitely. Orange and green blood said, "Who do you think will be a breakout player?" Um, I'll let you go ahead and answer that one first.
Well, is he talking about on the offense or the defense or
I guess you could give both sides.
breakout on defense? Um, I mean, I think Al Blade's going to have to step up on that corner position. He's a very physical corner, but I think he's going to have to shut down some things. He's going to have to shut down some of those guys. I mean, he does. He did. Don't get me wrong. He did a great job last season, but he's going to have to push even harder this season too. But I think he could be that breakout guy. On the offense, I want to go with Cam Harris because that running back position is going to be with Reed Lashley's system. you could have two guys that's up in the want to say 1,000, maybe the other guy 800 range, or depending on how good the O line block, we might could have two guys in the thousands. It's possible, but I'd say 1,000 to 800. But I think Cameron Harrison on offense, and if I had to go somebody else, I'd probably say Harley. I'll probably go with Harley. I think Jeremiah Payton, he gonna come out there with a chip on his shoulder because I think he's gonna have a lot to prove too.
Man, he played like a grown man. Him, Jeremiah Payton, and also what's his name? What's his name? Dude from IMG, Mike Riggins, I think. I forgot his name. But honestly, my two picks, it would honestly have to be on the defensive side, Jalen Phillips, because he's that Dark Knight right now. He's gonna, he was well known as a great athlete before, but once he come in that Michael Redden, thank you, Bradley. But once he come in that rotation, he goes to dropping that boom on those kids. I mean, it's just everybody's gonna be like, oh wow, like they're very serious. Now when they
I mean, hold on. How you feel about Christian Williams?
Christian Williams, I feel like he looked kind of like a pretty boy, but I think he that boy locked down. He locked down for real.
Yeah,
Like
have
that
you
boy.
seen his highlights?
Yeah, I've seen his highlights. That's he has a good body. Good body frame. He's like what 6 feet, 6'1", I think. Um,
Dude
I
is a
got
total beast, bro. And
yeah,
his speed is phenomenal. A couple streams back, we ran his highlights for the first
yeah,
time. That was my first time seeing his highlights, and I was like, "Yo!" I knew he was good, but I never watched his highlights before. I didn't know what we really had until I
yeah.
watched him. I was like, "Dude got me sold, bro." He gonna be one of those guys too that probably could have that breakout.
Honestly, it's gonna be if they're honestly, I don't know too much about the DB coach. Who's the DB coach? I think is Mike Rump, but like he honestly, I mean, I was told that he's a very good, he helps them a lot. He helps them like produce and become a better defensive back. But he has nothing but talent in front of him, nothing but 4 stars, big body cornerbacks, and I can't accept, I can't accept, you know, a like lack, like I guess lack of performance in that area because he has everything he needs. He of course they had to redshirt some people last year, and they were young, but going forward, it definitely should be better. And with the classes that's coming in, there is no excuses of why we shouldn't be like beasts in that area. But to go back to that question, I feel as if on the offensive side of who could be a breakout player, they really have to give this man a chance. But I think the guy Robert Burns. I
Yeah,
feel as if
in my mind, that dude is the most slept on Hurricane right now. He's the most slept on. Nobody's mentioned him when it comes to anything.
he actually played in one of those I forgot which I think it was the FIU game, and and he was toting it like he actually I think he had a good amount of breakout runs that went for like 10 yards and whatnot. But they act as if this man is like completely fragile. He was once a 5 star, former 5 star, and like I see like he's cocky, right? But he could throw some shit. Excuse me, I don't want to curse or nothing like that,
No,
but
no,
he
you
could he
good,
could
man. You good.
he could run the ball, and I would definitely feed him. That's who's going to be the sleeper because everybody know Cameron Harris. Cameron Harris, he's nothing but 305. That boy hard working, and he know what he want out of Miami. So you got a group of boys, you feel me, that want nothing but greatness for this school for the program, and you know, for them not to go undefeated or have a winning season this year, it would honestly be you know, be a disappointment. But I'm gonna still be a Cane for life. You know, that's just how it is.
all day, every day. Um, Orange and Green Blood is asking, who you think returning kicks?
Yeah, I think we answered that already, but I said Jalen Knighton or Xavier Restrepo or Mark Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, them boys on it. Jalen Knight. I seen King Gang. Yeah, boy, he just posted a comment. But I feel like Jalen Knight. Man, you can't tell me Jalen Knight ain't lit. Jalen Knight,
Brian,
that boy.
Brian leading more towards D Wiggins when it comes to returning.
Oh, D Wiggins.
Yeah, D Wiggins. I mean, he's got speed and he's got the ability too. So I wouldn't rule him out. What's your thoughts on Sam Brooks?
Sam Brooks. Oh, you talking about the linebacker? Oh, okay. So,
He got some shoes to fill.
all right, all right. So, all right. Just just mixed off what you just said too. I feel as if we have to let them be them. You know, he showed what he was capable of doing in that bowl game. When he came in and he made all those tackles. I honestly it hurt it watching that bowl game, but I would honestly say I didn't see how he was like I didn't see how he was, you know, making those tackles. But I would honestly say just let him do him because I think he got what eight solo tackles that game? 8 solo tackles coming
Yeah,
off the bench and he led the team. I like you should definitely consider this guy, you know, starting or having a lot of playing time. Just due to that. Like he's a beast. He's from Miami Northwestern. Like them boys, they in the trenches. Like they really hit stick and busting hit stick bust. You already know. So them boys, they ready, they hungry, and they trying to get on the field as soon as possible so they can go off to the league. They want to bang out those 3 years. You know, hopefully we can keep them. Ed Reed is gonna play a great factor in that. But they trying to get paid. That's how it is for a Florida boy.
yep. I mean, speaking of getting paid too, I was looking at an article earlier, and they were talking about the potential, payout for players and what they could possibly make. A name like um, Fields, Justin Fields out of Ohio State, could make a million, 300,000 and some. A name like what's his name, Trevor Lawrence could make a million, 1.2 mil, just by their name and likeliness, stuff like that. They're running numbers right now based on the experts. So it's gonna be a lot of money to be made in these schools in Florida next season. So a lot of these guys that can develop a name for themselves pretty quick could be that breakout player, the one that everybody's watching and paying attention to because they're doing stuff, on and off the field. They're gonna be able to have that potential to make thousands, maybe even millions. A name like Gregory Rousseau next season is going to have a great impact. As long as he continue doing what he's doing, his name is going to have that impact to where he'll be getting paid top-notch money. To where moving towards the future, a lot of those kids that normally would say, okay, three and out, you know, 3 good seasons here, I might go in the third or fourth round, fifth round. Some of them gonna change their mind now. You know what? I'm gonna come back the next season, put in work. I'm still getting paid, so it's not like I'm starving. It's not like
Right.
my family, hungry. Some of those kids are gonna stay, and it's a great deal going on because right now it's in Florida. It's in the
Yeah.
state of Florida. The NCAA is trying to get it all ruled, all the rules set, so where they can start doing it fit for the 50 statewide. But if they don't get that together, it'll be just starting here in Florida. So we'll take advantage of that before anybody else. So they,
Definitely.
so looking at recruits, a lot of those guys that are out of state, they're gonna start rolling into the state of Florida, the big names. So we'll get our guys locally, and then we'll have our picks if they don't get it together pretty soon.
I I didn't look at it in that perspective. Um, I didn't, think of it that deep. But I mean, you definitely do have a valid point when it comes to that. And I don't even think that is the reason of why they're trying to come to UM. UM is going to be one of the early programs that do implement it, and they're going to allow the kids to be able to get paid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the only
When,
thing
when I,
that
when I hold on, when I say that, I don't mean the kids in South Florida. I do believe that the kids in South Florida wants to see Miami does great, want to bring Miami back up to where they once were, even probably even better. But the
right,
kids that are from out of state that normally would look at us, put us in their top 10, and then drop us off somewhere on, they're going to look at us differently now. They're going to look at us as that potential place we could go and possibly make some money while we're in college. Because if you think about it,
and you,
a guy
mhm.
comes down here from Georgia or somewhere. He's a top guy in Georgia. We pull the kids that we need from South Florida, and then we go out and get those guys. So I think the kids in Florida do believe and wants to make Miami great, not just the money, but money is a factor.
Money is definitely a factor. I mean, it's not necessarily like it's not easy living in South Florida. It's kind of expensive down here, but like honestly, you can definitely look elsewhere for talent, and it is definitely going to lure recruits because Miami, the name behind the name, the history behind the name itself, it already had a lot of top recruits putting Miami in their top five in their consideration of like what school they'll go to, and that it will only be the icing on the cake. It's only gonna make kids want to come here more, but it's all business. It comes to all business. I mean, they want to be able to win a championship. They want to be able to also get paid and also be able to move forward. It's a business it's a business move. It's a business move. So um excuse me, like James Williams is definitely going to lure a lot of dudes, and he's going to get in everybody's ear. Like Avante Williams and those boys, like they're going to lock down that defensive side, and there's going to be no fly zone. You know, um, to just to go back to students getting paid. I honestly feel as if it can definitely affect things. Like it honestly make me feel as if some of the kids would want to transfer, to the bigger schools. Um, Not from our school, but just period. Just due to the fact that they may have a larger fan base and they can get, their like I don't know exactly how it works, but based off like favoritism, like those bigger schools like Ohio State. Justin Fields, he's nationally like worldwide known, because he
What I seen in the article that they wrote, they saying a Justin Field post, just him posting something on Instagram could make him 11,000 and some change.
they got to
So
fix that.
yeah, so that he's got a fan base, a well following, and commercial wise, if he's, let's say Nike wants to give him a shirt to wear or something like that, if he posts that on his Instagram or something, it's gonna get a lot of likes. It's gonna be seen by a lot of people, and most of those fans of his probably will go out and actually buy that shirt. So
It
it's
could
it's
de-
it's a marketing tool when you have a lot of following on Instagram, Facebook, even on YouTube and stuff like that. It's marketing.
and it could definitely have like a positive effect, but I see a lot of a lot of the bad that can happen also. It can kind of you know, it could definitely motivate a kid, but it can distract them also.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean that's what has me worrying. I think it's like a year or two before, like I don't know how soon it's supposed to be, in effect, but
Start next summer, 2021.
next next summer.
That's why I'm saying with all the kids that are coming in now, all these guys from South Florida, next summer when they sign and they go on campus and everything, they start getting paid right away.
Yeah, you already know James Williams is
California,
gonna.
California starts in 20.
Yeah, yeah,
So for
yeah. I seen that.
so a lot of those kids are out of state. Once they start seeing that, these kids in Florida State, Miami, UCF, and all those other places start getting paid, it's gonna be a domino effect. Hey, these guys are down there getting paid right now. I want to be a part of that. I want to get paid too. $5 donation from Slim Shady Game. He say, hey brother, love the debate. Can't wait to do it again. Everybody be safe. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you, Slim Shady. Like I said, man, anytime, come on in. You know, great show. We could do it all the time. Come on in, man.
Most definitely. Um, but yeah, like, can't they change that? Like, can't California like make it sooner? Or
Let me ask you this one. What you think about David Wilson?
Devard Wilson? I think Devard is a very talented athlete that came out of Miami Northwestern. I would love to have him on.
Hold on. What?
Excuse me. Hold on, I'm receiving the call. But I would love to have him on our team. But you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I would love to have him on our team. But yeah, I don't know what happened when he was originally getting recruited by Miami, but from what I was hearing, he's actually uninterested of joining the Miami Hurricanes, and I would love to have him, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think somebody said earlier that he was leaning more towards UCF or USF. I'm thinking it's probably more of a close to home kind of thing because a lot of these kids nowadays want to be closer to home. But if he comes to Miami, hey, I'll accept him. He could be a great cornerback.
Most definitely, and I mean, not everybody is gonna want to join, Miami. I feel like they should, maybe they didn't know so much about the history. I don't know. But if you grew up in South Florida, you know about the history of Miami, like, Ed Reed and all of those guys that you would want to be a part of something that's great. So, yeah, I mean, Deval Wilson, I mean, it would be very, good to have him a part of our, class, our team. But we're gonna keep on moving forward. That's just what we have to do.
All right, so we got a question here from Joseph. He said, "Do you think more kids will stay for their senior season because student athletes getting paid?"
Um, all right. That's the thing. That's a good question, honestly, Joseph. Um, you want to go ahead and answer that first?
All right, for me, depending on the scouts, depending on how good this guy has done on his junior season. If you have a guy that's expected to go anywhere between the first, second round, maybe even third, I think that guy would go. Because I mean, it's potential to make more money in the NFL than it would be off your name and likeliness. But when you have a guy that didn't have such a great season, their junior year or so, they still have a year of eligibility. I think those are the guys that are going to come back more often than none, and those are the guys that's going to want to improve their stock when it comes to the NFL draft. So having that, being able to get paid in college for that fourth year, you know, other than just staying and potentially getting hurt and not making no money at all, I think most guys now would definitely rather come back the guys that aren't, first or second, third, maybe draft picks, first round, second, third round draft picks. Those guys will more than likely come back.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I feel as if, I mean, it depends on if the student is actually, content with whatever how much they're getting. They definitely, can go off early if they have, proven themselves on the field. Why not go ahead and go to the next level and be able to, you know, get a chance to go on the NFL team. I mean, that's my outlook on that. Um, yeah, that's my outlook when
Kane,
it comes to that.
hold on, let me answer this real quick. Kane Gang, Chris, he said, T2Y, you think college football will allow fans at games because the NFL is? Right now, it's uncertain to say whether or not we're going to have fans or not. We just got to watch and see what's going on with the players. Weekly, week in and week out, you just got to pay attention to college football news and stuff like that because they'll announce, down the line what they're going to do. Right now, we don't know if we're going to have a full season. We don't know if it's going to be conference only. Some of the conferences has already went into conference only schedule in like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Nobody else has made any announcements yet. So when it comes to fans only being in the stands right now, we do not have that information. I know that Texas is talking about having half of its stadium filled, so that way they can separate the fans from each other, maybe like 4 seats apart or something like that, so that they can actually have fans in the stands. I know baseball right now at this moment, there's no fans in the stand, which I also heard that with baseball, if you're a season ticket holder, you can actually get a cardboard put in your seat of you, a cardboard printout of you put in your seat. But right now they don't have no fans in the stand. Now come down the line because we got a couple months before the season. So come down the line that might change. Maybe they found vaccines or whatever it is to slow down this virus or some kind of cure or whatever. That way fans could actually be in the stands. But as far for a season, I think we definitely have one. It's too much money to be given up. A lot of these, colleges depend on this money, depend on those TV deals. If nothing, those TV deals. I mean, game tickets, they're losing a lot already. The money that they make off the concession stands and stuff like that, they're already losing a lot. Some of these schools, the scholarships that they give out is based on their football programs, the money that they generate. Texas makes over $200 million on football every single year. So think about that. How much money, how much, things that they will not be able to do for their, program. So I definitely think we have a season as far as fans being in the stand. College football, we don't know right now.
It most certainly do affect things. I did hear that they're gonna try and, well, at least at our stadium, they're trying to have like like a half attendance, like 50% in attendance or something like that. But yeah,
I
it
mean,
definitely do.
at this moment, we don't need to change nothing then because that's what we get in our stands anyways, like 50%. I mean, it's the hard truth.
That's
It's
right.
hard.
That's definitely right.
I
But
mean, like I was
T2Y,
telling CJ, some of those games that we schedule. I mean, don't get me wrong, play the little cupcake games, but I think we should narrow our cupcake games down to just two. Play two cupcakes for warm up in the first two game of the season, and put some hard ones on there. Get some stronger teams on there.
yeah.
Go ahead, boss.
But yeah, I appreciate you adding me onto the channel. I mean, not the channel, but like the live feed. The first time calling in or whatever. But yeah, it was fun. Like I'm gonna definitely call in some more often now. And yeah, like I'm gonna call out right now. Yeah, I'll be easy. Go Canes.
All right, man. Take it easy, man.
No problem. Later.
All right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So if anybody want to come in and give their opinion on, what we're talking about, you certainly can. But the link is in the chat. I would put the number back up, but at this moment my phone is like on 3%. So makes no sense. Yeah, but the link is in the chat for anybody who wants to come in. For anybody that came in late and wondering what's going on. Basically, we talked about, you know, the prospects that we have, Miami recruiting rankings. We got another kid that's looking at Miami. He's a wide receiver / athlete because he played both sides of the ball. Yeah, because he played both sides of the ball. He's right up in Palm Bay, 4-star, 6'3", 190, wide receiver. Could play safety or corner. So Miami's looking at him. They gave him an offer. Florida State, Florida, a couple other schools, big name schools gave him offers. So we'll see how that develops. We're still waiting on the Palm 05. You know, Ted Franklin, running back, committed to the U, shut down his he shut down his recruitment. He's totally committed to Miami. Then we have also our kicker, his little brother that is committed to Miami also. He was looking at North Carolina was looking to try to acquire him. He also shut down his recruitment. He's total Miami also. So we're getting some good names, man. And like I said before too, 247 Sports, um, all these other recruitment channels, rivals, and all of them. Basically, James Williams was a five-star athlete. Why all of a sudden when he commits to Miami, they drop him down to a 4-star? What changed? Before he committed, he was a 5-star. Nothing changed. So why? It's a lot of hate going towards this program, but it is what it is. Now, and we also talked about Phil Steele dropping his preseason ranking where he has Miami at number 12, which is a great improvement. I think it was Pat Ford. He had dropped his. Miami was number 17. Phil Steele said Miami is the number one program in the country that improved from 2019 to 2020. So a lot of these guys are seeing the improvements that we're seeing. They're starting to believe like we're believing. It's right now the only thing we can do is wait and see when the product is put on the field how it works out for us. Recruitment class for 2021, make Miami great again, put on for my city. That's pretty much what we ran through tonight. Like I said, if anybody want to come in and chop it up or whatever, the link is in the chat. Put it in there again. Chop it up. If not, we'll wrap the show up in a little bit. Anyway, man, how you guys feeling though? So far in the off season? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Are y'all still gunning for Manny's head, or y'all giving him a little breathing room right now? How y'all feeling? How many of y'all expected, you know, for us to be where we at right now with this recruiting class? How many of y'all saw this coming? 'Cause I surely didn't. You told me this. If you told me we was gonna be at the point where we at right now, oh man, I would have told you joking around. Thank you, Orange and Green Blood. Orange and Green Blood always coming through, man. Appreciate that. Be in the chat right now. Make sure you haven't hit the like button yet, man. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Also, too, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I post Miami updates all the time. I always try to give my own little flavor to it. If you're on YouTube, then you know everything that happened in Miami. Every Miami YouTuber is gonna do a video on it or speak on it. I try to put my little flavor to it. Try to entertain you guys a little bit. Because I know a lot of times you hear the same information over and over. Yep, that's where it is. That's what it is, Dennis. Oh man, that's what it is. Fruits turning up, man. It's gonna be a hell of a season, man. 2020 is looking good. 2021 is looking even better. I don't know how Manny do it, man. Now I was hearing James Williams. I was hearing that Manny was his primary recruiter. I heard Manny was putting in work. They was talking all the time. I heard Manny was the one that was going all in for him. It's crazy. I make sure y'all smash that like button, man. Make sure y'all smash that like button for me. Smash that like button. It's gonna be a hell of a season if we have a season. Anyway, guys, this coming Sunday, I'll be over on the show will be here on my channel. This Sunday, I'll have Turn Tally with me. I'll do the Miami versus Florida State show. It should be an interesting show this week, especially how we turning up in recruiting. And right now, Florida State ain't looking too hot, looking kind of doo-doo-ish. So it should be an interesting show, man. Y'all make sure y'all come through and watch Turn Tally try to dodge all the recruiting, questions and stuff going on. Should be real interesting. Nah, they didn't. The schedule right now, everything is still looking the same. A lot of schools are talking about going conference only. The ACC has not announced conference only yet, but Michigan State is no longer on our schedule because they announced that they're going conference only in the Big Ten. So as of right now, Miami's schedule is still the same without the Michigan game being on there, which there's a possibility that Notre Dame could replace Michigan State. At this moment, we have no confirmation on that, but it's a possibility. I know that Blake James had reached out to Notre Dame, letting them know that Miami is very interested in playing Notre Dame for the 2020 season. If the game is possible, then we'll play them. But other than that, the ACC has not said anything about going conference only or making any changes. He say leave Notre Dame off our schedule. I mean, it'll be a great look for us to play Notre Dame and beat them. Because, I mean, Notre Dame, as much as we hate them, they would make our schedule look even better this season, especially with a win. Because, I think their preseason ranking has been in the top 10 on almost everybody's ranking. So when the AP come out, they'll probably be ranked in the top 10. Now, if you know our schedule, then you know our schedule is pretty dirt Easy. Should be easy. We should win all. We could go 12-0 with the schedule if we play up and not down to any opponent. We could go 12-0. So having a team like Notre Dame that's highly ranked on our schedule when everybody else won't even be probably start the season ranked. Probably the only team on our schedule probably would be ranked or even make it into the ranking would be North Carolina. So to have North Carolina and say Notre Dame, it would be good. Hey, I'm repping it. I'm repping it up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They say came for life for fun. Yeah, we need games like that. The magnitude of winning games like that, when it's all said and done in the end, big name games like that could determine, if we make it into a strong bowl game or not. Stuff like that. I mean, I'm not predicting that we're gonna win the ACC and then go into the playoffs, you know, or even beating Notre Dame at this moment. But having games like that and going out and win them is a great look for our school. Having a weak schedule, going 12-0 with a weak schedule, at the end of the year, you're gonna have arguments. You're gonna have, do they deserve to be where they are? Do we put them in, and then the disrespect gonna start coming down? Or they didn't play nobody, this and that. We know how it goes. So got a $10 donation from Football versus Showcase. $10 donation. He didn't say anything, but thank you for the donation, boss. Really appreciate that. Hold on. He said, "We're Uncle Lou happy. We beat the 5-star." I mean, Uncle Lou. I don't think that really bothered Uncle Lou because Georgia do have they are stacked. They've been having like a top 5 class for the last 5 or 6 years or so. So Georgia's not hurting, but at the same time, that's great for us. They're not really hurting right now when it comes to recruiting. They've been having the great classes. Now, winning championships and SEC championships and stuff like that, they haven't really, live up to it. But they're not hurting. Anyways, guys, if you got any questions, go ahead and ask them now. If not, I'm gonna wrap the show up. Like I said, Sunday night, we'll do the Florida State versus Miami show. Turn Tally will be over here. Me and him will chop it up, debate a little bit, especially on recruitment. And then on Monday night, we're gonna do a rewatch. We're gonna watch the 2001 national championship game on Monday night. And then Tuesday night, we're going to watch the 2010 Florida State versus Miami game. Anyways, guys, thank y'all for coming through. Thank y'all for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. Thank y'all. And I'm out.